This is Beverly Bond, and you're watching NodFactor.com. I'm Beverly Bond, and I am a DJ, and I'm also the founder of Black Girls Rock. I started DJing in 2000. As a matter of fact, I bought my turntables in 99, at the end of 99 in November, and I started spinning in January of 2000 in public. So my first gig was a little space called Spy Bar, which was downtown in Soho, and I just finished acting class. I was at William S. for an acting program. It was 2.5-year acting program, and I just gotten out, and I wanted to move to California, and everyone in Cali told me you have to have like your crew. And so my friend Wood Harris, who's an actor, he said to me, Bev, you know, when you come out here, you just have to have like it's not like New York. You won't have any kind of social life, and sometimes it can make people like really feel disconnected. You know, in New York, you can go to the coffee shop, and you can't do that here. So what we do is him and Saul Williams and Fatima Robinson would have poetry readings at their house. So I said, well, Wood, you know, I got music, so what I can do is bring my records and bring my turntables, and I can DJ the after party to the poetry readings. That's gonna be like, you know, so this is gonna be my little social time in LA. So that was my big plan as far as becoming a DJ. So that wasn't ever my plan to become a big DJ. It was just my plan to be good enough to do these after parties in LA for Wood and Fatima and Saul. So, but I wanted to get my practice in, so I went to all my DJ friends and I asked most of them, and most of them looked at me like, oh, this model DJ, she, like, you know, they didn't take me seriously. And a couple people did, and DJ Kiori, who I didn't know her, but I knew the promoters at this club called the Spy Bar, and she never came in early. She would always send her guys to come in and open. So the guy who was promoting it, he says, sure, you can come in and open. No one gets here that early anyway, so it's not like you can hurt the party, you know. So that's how I ended up getting into that club, and it was a place where you actually could not see the DJ, you could only hear them. This is also a time when we were still on vinyl. We were not on Serato, so you actually had to know what you were doing, or if you made a mistake, it was going to be very obvious to the crowd. It's also you know, what I think my signature was, besides my super smooth blending, was also the fact that I knew so much music, and I knew how to tell a story and take people on a journey and make it all make sense. So my first night, I was very nervous. I didn't know how to turn on the equipment because it was much more than I had in my house. But I knew what I was doing. So I got in a club, and I just didn't know. And even the manager treated me like, this model DJ, she don't know how to turn on the equipment. And by the time I got off, he had a friend who was a DJ who was there, and he said, the friend kept saying, who's this DJ? And the guy's like, this is her first night. And he's like, this is not her first night. There's no way this is her first night. And as soon as I got off, the manager came and grabbed me, and he's like, tell him how long you've been spending in public. And I said, well, tonight's my first night. And the guy just couldn't believe it. So the second or third week that I was spinning there was in January, and it was DJ Enough and Angie Martinez's birthday party. So a lot of times the industry, they will do the birthday parties earlier. So they came in, you know, and I didn't know they were going to be there. I didn't, you know, no one told me this was going to be a birthday party. And again, this was 2000, so they weren't as huge as they are now, but they were still radio DJs, and Angie was still a personality. So a lot of industry people came in, and everyone kept saying, who is the DJ? Like, who's playing this music? When I decided to become a DJ and to go into the club and actually do it, I went out first and I listened a lot. I listened to, I didn't just practice in my home, I also listened to every kind of DJ. I listened to good DJs, I listened to bad DJs, I listened to the opening, the middle, and the end. And what I discovered was that as the opener, I could choose to have a lot more freedom and dig in the crates, because that's the time of the night when you can be much more experimental, and you could also give people a bigger variety. And so sometimes I would notice DJs would play kind of the same openings, and you know, wouldn't really kind of give you a journey, and I felt like that's what I was going to do. So, and that's what I did. So by the third week, you know, even though it was an industry party, these people are still music people. So, you know, a lot of the people that were there, Jay-Z was there, you know, I can't remember who else, but there were a lot of industry people there. And I remember Enough saying to me, this is before I became a heavy hitter. He's like, you know, he was like, you're really good, you know. And from that point, he was paying attention to me, but I didn't know it. But other people were like, I think Enough's thinking about making you a heavy hitter. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Because in my mind, you know, after this was, you know, a couple months later, but in my mind, I really thought that Funk Flex was going to make me a part of his crew. And I kept thinking it, like, I was like, I think Funk Flex is going to make me. I've never even met Funk Flex. I think to this day he might know me. I don't know, you know. But I mean, when Enough came, that was kind of like, you know, it was a surprise to me. And before he actually told me, he actually announced it on the radio. And so people were calling me and they were like, "Yo, you're a heavy hitter." I'm like, "I am? Like, are you kidding?" So and Enough said when he finally called me and talked to me, he says, "You know, I completely just got excited and I said it before I was supposed to say it, but you know, I knew I was supposed to have a conversation with you first, but he says, you know, I would really love for you to be a heavy hitter." So you know, that was part of the progression of my career, becoming a heavy hitter. The other part of the progression of my career was that D'Angelo's album release party, and that was also very early in 2000. And he was, you know, D'Angelo's very soulful, and he wanted a DJ who could play a lot of his influences. And so my friend was working at his record label at the time, and she was like, "You're perfect for this because it's what he's describing is what you are." And so they hired me to play for. They didn't hire me. I did it for free. And I asked to do it. My friend was like, "What are you talking about? They were going to pay you money." I was like, "I don't want money. I want to just DJ," you know. And so I did that, and that was another party where a lot of people got to see me. You know, a lot of people who hire people to DJ. So I think, and then after that, where I made my mark was when I got my own night at Joe's Pub. And when I got my own night at Joe's Pub, I made it my own. And I knew that I wanted to be a DJ who had the freedom to create what I wanted to. I didn't want to be a commercial DJ. One of the reasons I wanted to play was because I wanted to play what was missing. And I felt like a lot of radio DJs didn't have the freedom to be able to do that. And so sometimes a lot of radio DJs would come out and they still play kind of very radio and commercial, and they wouldn't give themselves the opportunity to be creative. So I remember, you know, the first night I was spinning, Wesley Snipes happened to be in there. And he was just mesmerized by the music because he loves music. He's also a DJ. And so I came in with like 5 crates, you know, and I'm a new DJ. So he said to me at the end of the night, he's like, you know, I was here when you came in with all those crates. And I was like, I got to see what she's going to do. And he says, where you took me and the places you took me, he says, I'm going to be here. Every week I'm in town, I'm here. You know what I mean? And there were about 3 people there. And he just happened to be one of the people that were there. And I think I started to get a buzz kind of organically. And the buzz was that I was good because I was able to play all of this great mixture of music. And so what I started to do is I opened up my turntables to allow other DJs who were more commercial to be able to go back to that creative place. So I would create nights where I would have guest DJs, and I would do that on purpose because I knew a lot of DJs felt like I felt, but they were not in positions to be allowed to play how they wanted to play. So I would open up the turntables to them, and that created a whole nother buzz, you know what I mean? And then we started attracting just all kinds of, you know, but organically we started attracting all kinds of artists, everyone from Busta to Alicia to Jay to Mos to Talib, you know. We had a variety, Khalees, you know, basketball players. There were just a lot of people that were drawn to this place, and it had to do with the fact that it was just so creative. You know, sometimes we'd open up the mic and, you know, everyone from, you know, a known actor to a known rapper to security would be, you know, battling it out on the microphone. So I like to create very that's what I like to do when I spin. I like to create just a whole variety of I like to create a great experience for the listener, and I don't like to underestimate who's listening. You know, I did the after party, DJ'd the after party for Black Girls Rock, and I had Idris come. Idris was our DJ, but it was like me, Idris, D-Nice, and I saw Cassie. I'm like, yo, let's just go record for record. You know what I mean? And we did that all night, and somebody captured a picture. It was so great because I have one hand on this turntable and the headphone. Cassidy is touching the EQ button or the bass button, Idris is on the mic and D-Nice is on the computer, and somebody took the picture, and I'm like, this is how you DJ a damn party.